Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to the webinar hosted by the Senior Services Network of Southeastern PA. Our topic is Home for the Holidays, Staying Safe and Finding Joy. My name is Elaine Ciafani. I am the moderator. We have 4 panelists today. We have Dawn Wright and Mary Slack, daily money managers with Day-to-Day Financial Management, LLC. They assist individuals with managing their daily household money matters. I would like to introduce you to another panelist, Anita Campell, president and owner of Campbell Associates, a computer company that has been in business for 36 years. She works with a lot of seniors, helping them with their computers, and has taught introductory computer courses at the Southampton Library. Our other panelist is Linda Reeder. Linda is the executive director of the Bucks County SPCA. Linda has been in animal welfare for 36 years, including the past 6 years here in Bucks County. In this session, we're going to have a 40-minute discussion about smart holiday gift giving as we share tips to shop wisely and safely online. We will also discuss another way of finding joy and companionship by adopting a pet. Afterward, we will have a Q&A session. Please enter your question in the Q&A section down at the bottom of the screen anytime, and we'll address them at the end. And now Dawn and Mary will speak about how to get started with holiday shopping. Take it away, Dawn.
We love the holiday season. It's great to spend time with family and friends, and hopefully we'll get to do more of that this year. Along with that also comes gift giving and receiving. As we all know, it can sometimes be difficult to find the right gift, or our generosity can get the best of us, and we find that we spent more than we wanted to. We've come up with some suggestions that can help. Mary and I have done a lot of research on this topic. So along with the research, personal knowledge, and the unique experiences we have with assisting clients with bill paying and budgeting, we have a few suggestions that can help you keep this holiday season merry and bright. Whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, now's the time to begin preparing for your holiday shopping. And before I go any further, I'm curious if any of you in the audience have already started or finished your holiday shopping. And if you could put that in the chat, we'd love to know what's going on with you guys. Okay, well, it looks like a few of you may have already started, and that is great. Great news there. You're ahead of me, I will say. So whether you've started or not, we'll make sure you're ready to jump on those Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. And we've come up with a simple 3-step process to help you get started. Step 1 is to create a list of who you want to buy gifts for. Step 2 is to create a budget. And the final step is to decide on gifts. And I am actually going to share my screen with you guys. But first, I want to say we want this to be interactive. So if you have any tips, please put them in the Q&A, and we'll be glad to share and discuss them at the end of the webinar. Okay, and there we have it, folks. So this is a budget that I created. I kept it very simple deliberately, but you can use whatever works for you, whether it's paper and pencil. Excel has a lot of budgets, and they're a little more extensive than this. They go into things like, was your gift shipped? Where was it shipped to? When's it expected to arrive? So you can customize something there. You can Google holiday lists or holiday templates, and different templates will pop up. And if you're interested in using this one, you can always email me or Mary, and we'll be glad to send it to you. So the first step is, who do you want to buy for? And by that, we mean make a list of people that, maybe I shouldn't say who you want to buy for, but that you need to get gifts for. So that could be family, friends, coworkers, teachers, pets, or even an organization that that's really important to you. And once you've created that list, you can put over here in the budget under the recipient's name. Then we move on to step 2, which is coming up with a total budget. And I always recommend that you start with the total because this is the maximum amount you want to spend. And you really want to avoid that New Year's Day hangover when you get all your bills in. So the way to start with that is to go back and look at what you spent last year. And then look at how you really did with what you spent last year. Was it good? Maybe you spent a little more than you wanted to. And then be honest, you have to be honest with yourself here. And then you need to look at this year and see, did your circumstances change? Maybe you're making more money. Maybe you're making a little less. Maybe you have fewer expenses this year, or your expenses have gone up, and that will help you adjust what you your budget to get to a number that's really comfortable for you. And at this point, you need to look at how you're going to pay for your gifts. Have you saved money throughout the year? Have you joined a Christmas club? Do you get a bonus that you spend your money on? Everybody's different, so everybody's going to have a different way of handling this and coming up with a total budget. And then once you have the total budget, you're going to go back to your recipient names and you're going to itemize the budget for each individual. So you'll go through and say, well, I want to spend this amount on my husband or my wife and this much on my children. And oh, can't forget Aunt Ida because, you know, she always gets me a gift, and so on and so forth. And you may have to go back and forth a little bit and adjust your numbers until you get to your total budget. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mary because she has the fun job of helping you find great gifts for the holidays.
Thank you, Dawn. Yes, now it's time for the fun part, coming up with those gift ideas. And for some on your list, it's easy to know what you want to give them, right? And then there are a few people who are a little bit hard to buy for. That's probably me on our family's list. For them, try to think differently. Ask yourself, what do I know about this person? What is something special or different that they do? This may help you come up with a different type of gift, maybe a more meaningful one. As we know, showering our family and friends with expensive gifts are not necessary. So here are a few unique gift ideas that we came up with, and we hope that it will help you with your list this year. So one meaningful gift could be a charitable donation. You can donate on behalf of that person. Maybe they love animals, or they are devoted to a specific cause or organization that is special to them. I was actually the recipient of this type of gift. Now that our family has expanded and we have many nieces and nephews, we, the parents, decided that we would not exchange gifts. It was going to help us with our holiday budget, actually. But my one sister-in-law, she doesn't have kids yet, and she still wanted to give the adults gifts. Well, I am a Girl Scout leader for my daughter's troop, and I was surprised when I got in the mail a card from Girl Scouts. My sister-in-law had made a donation to Girl Scouts, and she specified the troop and made it on my behalf. I just thought, number one, I was just so surprised with it, and I didn't even though I'm in Girl Scouts, I didn't know you can specify the troop and have the funds go to them. But I just thought it was so extremely thoughtful of her to think of us in that way, to think of me. And really, I was just happy that it was going to help the girls in their troop. And then with charitable donations, you can also donate in memory of a loved one. And I actually do this every year for a family member. That family member lost a loved one, and she mentioned this charity and how that person used to donate to them. And so the organization sends her a card and says that I made a donation in memory of the loved one. She receives the card and she just loves getting that card. It's just so heartwarming for her. It's another opportunity to think of that loved one. And And it's especially special because knowing that it continues on that person's legacy of contributing to that organization. And as we all know, making contributions to a charity is a tax deduction. So that can help you with your budget, maybe for next year, as you saved a little extra money. Another type of gift could be entertainment type of gifts. This can be given to an individual or family. They could be passes to a museum, amusement parks, maybe movie passes for the family. The kids could have a fun place that they like to go to when they have time and the family can bring them, or even your family's favorite dinner spot. If these places are not local to purchase, you can always call them on the phone or go to the website and get the gift certificate. And the place will usually mail it to you, or that can be emailed. If it is local, you might be able to package up really cutely and send it off to them. And that's something I do a lot. It ends up being very popular, and it's just something to give to the family. And then the other gift idea is just consider making gifts. A great thing is photo albums. We all keep these photos on our phones and don't actually print them. So a photo album for your parents would be great. Helping set up the computer or tablet for a grandparent so that they can participate in the Zoom calls with family and friends, and then maybe know how to do it going forward is a great gift. Maybe you're known for your cooking, and you have this famous brownie recipe that kids love. So a tin of those would be great. And that's even great to give like to teachers or even to your mail carrier if they are someone that you've known for years and just would like to give them something special. As we know, gifts from the hearts are always very special to everyone. And after you've come up with your gift ideas, then what you need to do is do the research. So the first thing you would do, of course, is price check. We're all getting those ads in the mail, and you can go through those and then compare it to some websites or to other stores, and that can help you stay within your budget that Dawn mentioned. Also, if you donate to the charity, make sure it's reputable. Oh, and Linda, since you're on with us to talk about your charity, or to talk about something, but here with the Bucks County SPCA, do you have thoughts on that with regards to finding reputable charities?
Well, sure. Thanks for asking. I would just have 4 quick things to share if you are going to donate to a charity. You can check out the charity online on either Charity Navigator or GuideStar. These organizations rate charities on things like how transparent are they? How much of their money actually goes towards their mission? Are they audited? And gives them ratings so that you can feel confident that you are donating to a charity that is highly rated. So those again are GuideStar and Charity Navigator. Another thing to consider is, do you want your money to go towards a national charity, or do you want your money to stay here in your own backyard and provide help and services locally? The national charities and the local charities are not necessarily connected. A good example is the SPCA. We are not connected to the ASPCA in New York City, and any donation given to the ASPCA never comes to us. So, think whether, it's fine to donate to a national one, but if you're looking for local, you should probably, be very careful about how you do that. And then my last couple of items are Giving Tuesday comes up right after Cyber Monday, which is a great time. Charities get out there what they most need. And again, to mention the tax write-off that this year is $300 for individual and $600 for a couple.
Thank you, Linda. That's really great to hear. Good to know. I guess that was similar with what my sister-in-law experienced, because she would have donated to Girl Scouts nationally, but she obviously went through the local and was then able to get to our troop. So that's a great point to make. For the researching your purchases as well, watch out for those too good to be true deals. You want to stay in your budget, But of course, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And so maybe you want to research and find it at another place and find it at a reasonable price. Check the reviews, because maybe that gifts idea that you came up with maybe is not very good. And so you need to come up with another idea. And also check the shipping costs, because as we know, some things you have to pay for the shipping, so that will just affect your budget. And now that you have your gift list, how are you going to shop? Well, as we know, the last year, about almost 2 years now, online shopping has been the trend. And Anita, you're our computer expert, so I'm sure you probably have some good tips for us on how to safely shop online.
Thank you, Mary. How many of you listening are comfortable ordering things on a computer, an iPad, or a smartphone, or at least are comfortable using those devices? If so, list it in the Q&A so we know how many people are probably going to go down this route. A very important thing to have before you start shopping online is to make sure that you have a strong antivirus program on your computer. The first thing you want to do is to be sure that you're not going to tap into malicious websites that will damage your computer or give you a virus. It's also smart to go to websites that you know. Don't necessarily look at unsolicited emails that you get talking about the 15 greatest gadgets of the year, and you look through them and you find one that you know would be perfect for Uncle Joe. And it may be a great gift to give to Uncle Joe, but don't use the link that is on the email. Take the website and put it in your browser and go to it that way. The same is true with Facebook websites, because sometimes what happens is they don't take you to the website where the product is actually sold, but it's someone that is an intermediary, and they're the one that are taking the money. And a lot of times those are actually even out of the country. I had that issue with a Facebook one. I went in, I saw shoes I really wanted. I put it in and everything was going fine until I tried to pay for it. And when I tried to pay for it, my bank denied the credit card. And I was like, well, what's this going on? So I called the bank and found out that it was a website that was out of the country, and they didn't allow charges that were out of the country charges. So in a way, my bank saved me. And there's ways, which Don can tell you about, alerts that you can sign up for with your bank.
The things we frequently help our clients with is setting up alerts that either come to their email or are texted to them on their cell phone. Because banks and credit card companies all will do this if you have online access to your bank accounts. And they vary from company to company, but the more common ones include low and high balance alerts, overdraft alerts. You can set an alert by the transaction, and usually you have to put a dollar amount in there. So, you know, you want to be alerted of every transaction over, say, $50, and you'll get a notification from your company. And that way, you know, if you didn't make the transaction, you know, that someone else has your card. Another one is that I use frequently, one of my credit cards, and I don't know if they all do this, but I get an alert every time my card is not present. So if I'm on a website and I have to type in my credit card number, they send me an alert no matter what the dollar amount is. And I really find that one to be valuable.
Thank you, Don. So now you're on your secure website and you need to look at, do they have free shipping? Do they have free returns? Are they a local website? You have put in, you've decided to give them a gift card to a restaurant that they go to frequently. You can go on a local website and be able to get something, and you can order it online. And rather than having to pay shipping, if they charge shipping, is just drive by and pick it up. Most places still have it now that they will, you don't even have to go inside. They will bring it out to your car for you. And that lets you use local places, but you don't have to risk going inside, be it for gift cards or for products. The other thing about websites is that there are a lot of them, such as Amazon and a few others, that will allow you to, they have a special thing set up that they will give to a charity that you pick. It's not one that they pick. You can decide what it is you want to give to, and they donate a certain percentage of what you buy to the charity. So it doesn't add anything on to the amount that you're paying for your gift, but it does help somebody else in the process. And there are also the quote unquote big box stores, Target, Walmart, Staples, Home Depot, Lowe's. A lot of those will also have the option that you can pick up the item at the store closest to you so that you don't have to pay shipping. If you have out of town members of your family or friends that you give to, it may be prudent to just have the company ship it directly to them, because it really doesn't make sense to pay to have it shipped to you and then for you to have to pay the post office or UPS, etc., to ship it again to them. Most of these places also have gift wrapping, or at least something that covers up what the package is, so that if they open it, they can put it under the tree. But there's no need to pay 2 shipping fees when it could just go to them. And also for last minute gifts, rather than buying a book or a dress or something, you can send them gift cards that will either be mailed directly to them or that go through email, which again, if it goes through email, you don't have to pay any shipping or mail fees. And you can have those cards emailed to yourself, and then you can email it to them when they're closer, when it's closer to the holiday, or if they're local and you're going to see them, you can print it out and give it to them, and then forward the email to them when you get back, so that it's easy for them to just go directly in and buy something and use the card. Amazon, if you have it in an account, just automatically puts it towards your account so that you have a credit at the end. The other thing is that when you go to pay for it, it's best to use a credit card rather than a debit card, because if it did accidentally get hacked, you can always get the money back against a credit card, whereas a debit card goes directly into your checking account. So you have much more liability that way. And you want to never save the card to the website. We hear every day about databases that have been hacked, and you don't want your information out there for other people to get. And Mary has some more information about how to guard against that.
Just with the credit cards, just like you said, Anita, not putting it out there or saving it to the website. Definitely credit cards provide extra protection for you. So it's better to use that versus the debit card. Even sometimes, I don't know if you know about it, Anita, with the digital wallets. I've heard a mix with those as that those could actually be better. There's increased transaction securities. There's something where it obscures the card information when it goes to the merchant. So hopefully those are helpful.
They do offer protection that way. It all depends on whether that is set up with your account and how much you do online. And then when your product gets shipped, make sure that you always print out the order or at least save the order in your email so that you can follow up with the company. If you don't receive the item that you are expecting, or if the person you're gifting to doesn't receive it. And most companies now will allow, they ask a question, do you want to track your package so that you always know? And even if it's going to someone else, you can track it so that you know it arrived at the specified location, which gives you peace of mind in case they don't send you a thank you note. So I will now turn it back to Mary and Dawn for how you can stay on top of your spending.
Thank you, Anita. Those are great tips. We all need to be safe when it comes to online shopping and doing anything online nowadays. So of course, after you've made your purchases, you really still need to stay on top of your spending. And I'm just curious though, if you would type in the chat, who out there still reconciles their bank statements? And if you do you reconcile by paper or do you use a personal financial software? Maybe no one reconciles. A lot of people don't reconcile anymore, and it's so important, either by paper or electronically. The electronic part of, bank statements and everything out there has just made it so easy for us. We're like, oh, it looks right. It looks, it looks fine in there. But reconciling is still very important. It's something that we do, Dawn and I do all the time for our clients. And so when you stay on top of your spending, one thing to do after you made your purchase, of course, is to keep the receipts. If you have paper ones, it's always easy just to put them in an envelope. And then if you have if you get the email ones, like Anita mentioned, a great thing to do in your email is to create an extra folder that says receipts. I usually have one up there, and then I just keep the same name every year, but I'll just change the year. I like seeing the year. Well, the reason why I put the year, now that I remember, is because it puts it at the top of my list. And so I like it to go there, and I just know I can just drag them in there and have them. Especially when it comes tax time, I always look at that folder. So as I mentioned, you want to review your statements regularly, especially, after the holidays. If you make your credit card purchases, you won't see that for another month or so. But the big thing with checking is making sure everything is correct. You want to make sure that you were charged correctly. I actually was just with a client, and we were looking through her checks, and we noticed her check was one thing, but then her statement actually had more. The bank added a 1 in front of it. So fortunately, it wasn't a big one. It was a small one, but still, that was an issue. And so she had to call the bank and have them resolve that. And then you want to look at your statements also further past the holidays to make sure there isn't a duplicate charge. Because if you see a duplicate charge down the line, it could be one of those places, maybe that you got through, like Anita mentioned, either on Facebook that you ordered something, and then all of a sudden they decided to charge you again. or say that there's some sort of subscription. So you want to check it down the line, especially if it was a different vendor, someone you hadn't gone through before, just to make sure everything looks good. So, and then if you do see a problem, don't be afraid to ask for help. Call the bank or the credit card company immediately. And if you feel overwhelmed with that or a little nervous about making those phone calls, just ask your family, ask a friend, or ask a daily money manager. That's something that Dawn and I do all the time for our clients, and have them make the calls for you, just to support you during that time of going through it and trying to get the problem resolved. And it's just a good time to have that conversation with your family if those type of things have been happening more often to you. So knowing that you're doing all that you can to practice safe holiday shopping can help you to relax and find joy this holiday season. And another way to finding joy is with a pet. And we have Linda to talk to us about that.
Well, thank you very much. It is, let me see if I can get this started. I thought we would all like to look at some pictures of some joyous pets, and I'm hoping that there is either one on your lap or one by your side or one out in your pasture that you are fond of. But a lot of people at the holiday time do feel like they have some extra time, and it might be the right time to get a pet for some people. So here's me hugging a really cute little bunny. Rabbits are a growing in popularity pet, and this is a really cute one. I work at the Bucks County SPCA with a great team of people. We have 2 different locations. Quakertown was opened about 10 years ago. Lahaska has been around for 110 years, so a really long time as far as serving the community. And there's our website if you want to find out more about us. We're a 7-day-a-week place, and we are a private, nonprofit, local, donation funded. So as far as pets go, I would say they bring joy and love to so many people, including seniors. We love seniors who come to adopt pets, and we feel like that's just a wonderful addition to their lives. In fact, 67% of American homes have a pet already, and 95% of those people consider their pets as family members. Pet ownership is on the rise. In the past 35 years, it's risen 20%, so that's a big jump. More households have dogs than cats, but here's the trick, there are more cats owned because households with cats tend to have more than one. And birds, rabbits, and small animals and other pets are popular as well. So what are some of the things that we know about pet ownership? Studies have shown that pet ownership correlates with healthy things like lowered blood pressure, lowered cholesterol, lower levels of depression or anxiety, which are problems that can plague us in our life and in our senior life as well. Pets get us up and around. They get us up to feed them, to take them out, to share time and space with, and of course they have wagging tails. And I would say that dogs in particular can alert people that someone is at the door. They can also help keep intruders away because intruders are less likely to try to enter a home in which a dog is barking. So they can be a safety aspect too. Dogs are just great companions. And of course, they come in a variety of breeds and mixes, and purebred dogs are generally more expensive, and the new designer breeds that people are mixing certain breeds together. Small dogs, like the ones you see on the left, live longer in general than the larger dog varieties that you see on the right. Cats come in pretty much just plain cat. There are a few rare breeds available, but mainly they're short, medium, or long hair and in different colors. As with dogs, the rare breeds of cats are more expensive, and they also tend to have more genetically inherited problems. So here's a senior that I have known and loved for a long time, hugging her special cat. And on the right is a special needs animal. We often at the SPCA have animals like Timmy here, who is missing an eye. We might have an animal that only has 3 legs or limited eyesight or needs to be on a special diet. It can be a especially wonderful thing to adopt an animal with a special need, and they can add a lot of love to life as well. At the SPCA, about 10% of our incoming animals are not dogs or cats. They might be rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, gerbils, mice, reptiles, birds, ferrets. They're all commonly available at shelters for much less of an investment than purchasing them at a store. Shelters, like at our shelter, we have our own veterinary team, so they have a vet exam, and we also know the difference between boy and girl, and that is a problem for people when they're purchasing pets at pet stores. Sometimes they can get, a boy and a girl rabbit, and pretty soon they have 15 rabbits, which is more than they wanted. In fact, we got a box with 12 the other day on our doorstep. Dogs are generally become more quiet as they age. A puppy can be very challenging to own, but you might be up for that or you might not. Dogs are not as easy to find at animal shelters these days because dog overpopulation is no longer a problem in general in the northern United States. Last year, for example, the SPCA in an entire year adopted out 80 dogs. Compare that to the number of cats and kittens we adopted out, 937. Clearly, you can see where the overpopulation problem is. It's with cats. So when you're thinking about getting a pet, I guess I would encourage you to think about the expense of owning a pet. The average cost of pet ownership for an entire year is about $1,100 on average. Dogs are on the more expensive side, cats on the less expensive side. And when you look at what makes up the cost of ownership, about half is veterinary care. So be sure to keep that in mind. About a quarter of the cost is food, treats, and litter. About 15% is boarding, such as when you go on a trip, or pet sitting, and training, like for a dog. 5% is for grooming, again, more of a dog expense, and 3% toys, which could be either. Pet health insurance is now generally available, but only about 2% of pet owners are investing in this. I have pet health insurance for my pets though, and it gives me great peace of mind knowing that if something goes really wrong, I have a safety net for them. The initial cost can vary. It's more expensive to get a pet from a breeder, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you get a qualified good breeder. Animal shelters or rescues tend to have less expensive pets. Most purebred puppies from a breeder are going to set you back a few $1,000s per puppy. So keep that in mind. That's the going rate these days. Whereas at a shelter like ours, a puppy is about $400 and an adult dog is under $300 and a senior dog is just over $100. So, keep that in mind that there's a variety of costs. Cat prices range from free to maybe around $100, $125 for just plain old cat. I would encourage you to keep in mind that free pets are not usually really free. So let's say you pick up a little free kitty at a farm or somebody that had a kitty they needed to give away. By the time that you pay for neutering shots, worming, leukemia testing, a microchip, a collar tag, a litter box, etc., you're already at $500. Easy. So it's usually a much better deal to get a cat that has already had a whole bunch of stuff done, or a kitten already done for it through a group like ours or a rescue group. Research your source for your pets online. Usually read reviews, Google reviews. How did other people's experiences go with that group? And ask the group or the shelter, is the purchase guaranteed? If it doesn't work out, can I bring the pet back? Because you want to be able to return a pet for any reason. Ours are 100% guaranteed, and it's a money back guarantee. And we take returns back right away if there's a problem of any kind. And that is what you want to look for in a guarantee on purchasing or adopting a pet. Some pets are more challenging or expensive to own. Reptile on the left, a very beautiful animal. It's going to have a lot of high care needs and specialized needs. That is a pig, yes, on the right. That is a little kuni pig that was adopted from our place recently. And birds, the caged birds can have more expense associated with them too, but make wonderful pets for certain people. I would also encourage you to have a backup plan if you can no longer care for a pet at some point, and we will all reach that point. And so have a talk with friends, family, or whoever you are going to have the pet go to in that case. And, as a last resort, or, a good resort, in my opinion, is the SPCA We Rehome Pets as well. I would mention here that pet trusts are legal in Pennsylvania. Those can be set up to provide monetary support after you're gone to pay for the costs of caring for your pet for the person who's taking care of it. And you would want to set that up with an estate attorney who has that kind of experience. And there are a few cases where it's not a great idea to get a pet. If you have very severe allergies, if the pet is a falling or tripping hazard for you, if your skin is highly sensitive or very thin and might be damaged by scratching, or if you have concerns about the cost of caring for a pet or the ability to get in and out and exercise a dog regularly, watch out for getting too many pets and getting in over your head. And I would caution you that breeding pets is a kind of a specialized area that we don't recommend for anybody except the strong of will and heart. We adopted out over 1,300 animals this past year. Many of them were really lovely kittens that were brought to us, very tiny. This one's drinking out of a tiny little syringe bottle. But whatever kind of pet you're interested in, I hope that you'll reach out to either us or another group if you're considering adopting or gifting yourself at the holiday season. So now I just need to stop sharing here. There we go. And that's all I've got. So I'll turn it back over to Elaine. Elaine, real quick, I need to remind you to unmute yourself.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm talking away here. This is great information that we got from Mary and Dawn, Anita, and Linda. And Linda, thank you for bringing the animal pictures, because of course that made everybody's day looking at those. But right now, does anybody have any questions? I see none down in the question and answer section. So if you have any, pop them into that and I will ask. I know that there may be some things that you want to hear more about from one of our panelists. All right, so.
I do see someone made a comment about
Yeah.
the experience gifts, which is kind of like the entertainment ones, but that's probably a better term for them. The experience gifts that I mentioned with museum passes and such, those are really just great gifts and just something different. And especially if it's a group, it makes it easier for you to get one gift for everybody.
One-stop shopping.
Yes.
Okay, and then there is one question here for Linda. Does the SPCA provide training?
We do. We have dog training classes for either group or individual classes because some animals really need to one-on-one training. We offer both of those things. And also another good help for seniors and others who have pets that might be challenging to them or have some issues. We have a free pet behavior helpline that people can reach out to by calling us and just asking to be connected to the behavior helpline. And we'll help people with the problems that they might be having, pointing them in a good direction, a right way, instead of, asking somebody who might not know as much and give you some wrong information, and we wouldn't want that. So we're happy to help.
Okay, and Dawn, you have a question for Anita?
I do. I was thinking back to
You're muted. I can't hear you.
it says I'm unmuted. Am I?
Oh, there you
muted?
are. You're back. You're
Okay.
there.
I'm having problems with the mute. I click on it. It doesn't unmute sometimes. No, my question for Anita is what I think back to when my kids were young, and this may apply to other people. What happens? What should you do, Anita, if you say click on a malicious website, your antivirus doesn't work, and now obviously your computer's been hacked? What is the best way to handle that?
Well, if you have a good antivirus or anti-malware on it, even if it gets hacked, when you do the scan, it should find it through the scan of the virus itself and be able to quarantine the virus and get it off of your computer. Sometimes you have to use a stronger one than is on every day, but the best thing is to take it to a professional and don't wait around and let it fester, because it can end up causing more problems the longer you leave it on your computer than getting rid of it as soon as possible.
All right, great. Are there any other questions for our panelists? I don't see anything else popping up right now. I see a great job, ladies. Lots of helpful information. So that was great. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending today.